There wasn't a knockout, but there sure were plenty of fireworks. Welcome into MMA Live. My name is Todd Grisham. With a title shot on the line, Robbie Lawler defeats Matt Brown by unanimous decision at the Shark Tank in San Jose, California. And joining us now to discuss that fight is our own MMA writer, Brett Okamoto, who joins us from Las Vegas. Brett, you were sitting cage side. What did you make of the fight?
I thought it was a really fun welterweight fight. I was surprised that it went the full 25 minutes. I think a lot of people were. You consider how dangerous Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown are. You expect to finish within 5 rounds, but I think there was a little bit of a mutual respect there between the two. Neither one really wanted to make a big mistake in this fight. They're also just two really tough guys, tough to put away. I think at the end of the day, the takeaway was that Robbie Lawler is the #2 welterweight in that division. He basically always has been. In 2014, he lost to Johny Hendricks in March for the vacant title. But he's already right back to where he was. He'll fight Johny Hendricks probably in early 2015, and he'll go into that rematch with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, Dana White didn't expect it to go the distance either. Said he'd walk back to Las Vegas from San Jose if it went the full 25, and I don't know if he paid off that bet or not. I highly doubt it. He probably jumped on his private jet. All right, so as you mentioned, a potential shot at Johny Hendricks' welterweight title coming up. Maybe we're hearing perhaps in January. If they do square off again, what do you think will happen?
Well, I think that there will be some similarities to the first time these two fought. I also think that there will be some differences from the first time they fought. It's one of those fights where you really don't go in with these really hard expectations of what it's going to look like, because I think it's a fight that's going to take place everywhere. It's going to take place against the cage. It's going to take place out in the open. There are going to be exchanges. Hendricks will be shooting for takedowns. Takedowns were a big part of why Hendricks won the first fight, but he did it late. There were a lot of exchanges in that fight, and then Johny Hendricks took over with wrestling in the later rounds, maybe when Robbie Lawler was a little tired. To win the scorecards in Dallas at UFC 171. Well, he tried to do that a little bit earlier in this fight. That's a good question. Robbie Lawler's not an easy guy to take down, though. You can spend a lot of energy trying to take him down. So, again, I think it's just one of those fights you go in knowing that you're going to see a little bit of everything. It's going to be a difficult fight. The winner of this fight is going to know he was in a fight, and that is similar to the first time these two fought.
It was one of the best fights of the year, that's for sure. We were both there, Robbie Lawler and Johny Hendricks. All right, so what now for Matt Brown? His 7-fight win streak was snapped. What do you see in his future?
You know, UFC President Dana White said that Matt Brown's stock actually rises in this loss, and I don't necessarily disagree with him. This is a guy who has spent a lot of time trying to get respect. You know, despite a 7-fight win streak, a lot of people didn't have him ranked in the top 10. They didn't. He had a hard time booking a fight against a top 10 opponent. Just a guy who was overlooked at 170 pounds, and that's no longer the case. Going in there fighting a guy like Robbie Lawler, giving him a good fight. Matt Brown had opportunities to try and steal this one away from Robbie Lawler. He was really right there the entire time, so I don't think he's going anywhere. I would love to see him fight Nick Diaz. I think that is an outstanding stylistic fight. Seems like Diaz is destined for other things, but give Matt Brown a top 10 opponent again. He deserves it.
Both action fighters. The future seems to look bright, especially, of course, for Robbie Lawler, who is expected to get a title shot against Johny Hendricks. I want to thank Brett Okamoto for joining us here on this edition of MMA Live. Until next time, I'm Todd Grisham. Keep fighting.